This is a quick recap video of chapter Mechanical Properties of Fluids. So let's start with fluid. A fluid is a substance that can flow. The term fluid refers to both liquids and solids. Fluid statics. The branch of physics that deals with the study of fluids at rest is called fluid statics or hydrostatics. Fluid dynamics. The branch of physics that deals with the study of fluids in motion is called fluid dynamics or hydrodynamics. Thrust. The total force exerted by a liquid on any surface in contact with it is called thrust. A liquid always exerts force perpendicular to the surface of container at every point. Pressure. The thrust exerted by a liquid per unit area of surface in contact with it is known as pressure. Pressure is equals to thrust upon area, or pressure will be equals to force upon area. Pressure is a scalar quantity. Now, units and dimensions of pressure. The CGS unit of pressure is dyne per centimeter square, and SI unit is Newton per meter square, which is also called Pascal. The dimensional formula of pressure is m1 L-1 T-2. Next is density. The density of any material is defined as its mass per unit volume. Density will be equals to mass upon volume. Density is a positive scalar quantity. Now, units and dimensions of density. The SI unit of density is kg per meter cube and CGS unit is gram per centimeter cube. The dimensional formula of density is m L to the power minus 3. Specific gravity. The relative density or specific gravity of a substance is defined as the ratio of the density of the substance to the density of water at 4 degrees Celsius. So we can say specific gravity will be equals to density of substance upon density of water at 4 degrees Celsius. Specific gravity is a dimensionless positive scalar quantity. Pascal's law. It states that a change in pressure applied to an enclosed incompressible fluid is transmitted undamaged to every point of the fluid and the walls of the containing vessel, or the pressure exerted at any point on an enclosed liquid is transmitted equally in all directions. Next is hydraulic lift. It is an application of Pascal's law. It is used to lift heavy objects. According to Pascal's law, pressure applied on a smaller piston will be equals to pressure transmitted to the larger piston. So P will be equals to small f upon small a will be equals to capital F upon, this is capital A, or F will be equals to P into capital A, which will be equals to small f upon small a into capital A. As capital A is greater than small a, so capital F will be greater than small f. Thus, hydraulic lift act as a force multiplier. Now, hydraulic brakes. The hydraulic brakes used in automobiles are based on Pascal's law of transmission of pressure in a liquid. Now, pressure exerted by a liquid. A liquid column of height h and density rho exert a pressure given by h rho g. Effect of gravity on fluid pressure. The pressure in a fluid varies with depth h. According to the expression, P will be equals to Pa plus h rho g, where rho is the fluid density assumed uniform. Next is hydrostatic paradox. The pressure exerted by a liquid column depends only on the height of the liquid column and not on the shape of the containing level. Atmospheric pressure. The pressure exerted by the atmosphere is called atmospheric pressure at the sea level. We have atmospheric pressure will be equals to pressure exerted by 0.76 m of Hg, which is mercury. So we can write this as h rho g, where h is 0.76 and density is 13.6 into 10 to the power 3 and g is 9.8. So on solving this, we get 1.013 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square. Other units used for atomic pressure are as follows. First is 1 atm, which will equals to 1.013 into 10 to the power 6 dyne per centimeter square, which will be equals to 1.013 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square or Pascal. And 1 bar will be equals to 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square. 1 millibar will be equals to 10 to the power 2 Newton per meter square, and 1 torr is equals to 1 mm of Hg. And finally we can conclude that 1 atm will be equals to 1.013 k Pascal will be equals to 1.013 bar will be equals to 760 torr. Now absolute pressure and gauge pressure. The total or actual pressure P at a point is called absolute pressure. Gauge pressure is the difference between the actual pressure, means absolute pressure at a point, and the atmospheric pressure. Thus Pg will be equals to P minus Pa, or P will be equals to Pa plus Pg. So absolute pressure will be equals to atmospheric pressure plus gauge pressure. Now buoyancy and center of buoyancy. The upward force acting on a body immersed in a fluid is called upthrust or buoyant force, and the phenomena is known as buoyancy. The force of buoyancy acts through the center of gravity of the displaced fluid, which is called the center of buoyancy. Now let's understand Archimedes' principle. It states that when a body is immersed partially or wholly in a liquid, it loses some weight. The loss in the weight is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced. So apparent weight of the body will be equals to true weight minus weight of the fluid displaced. So we can say this is equals to W minus U will be equals to this, and finally we get apparent weight will be equals to weight into 1 minus rho upon sigma, where W is equals to V rho G is the weight of the body and rho is the density. Now law of flotation. A body will float in a liquid if weight of the liquid displaced by the body is at least equal to or greater than the weight of the body. When a body just floats, weight of the body will be equals to weight of the liquid displaced. So V sigma G will be equals to V dash rho G, or we can say V dash upon V will be equals to sigma upon rho, and which will be equals to volume of the immersed part, and this is total volume of the body, or we can say density of the body upon density of the liquid. Now viscosity. It is a property of a fluid due to which an opposing force comes into play whenever there is a relative motion between its different layers. Now next is Newton's formula for viscous force. The viscous drag between two parallel layers, each of area A and having the velocity gradient dv upon dx, is given by F is equals to minus eta A dv upon dx, where this eta is the coefficient of viscosity of the liquid. Now next is coefficient of viscosity. It may be defined as the tangential viscous force required to maintain a unit velocity gradient between two liquid layers, each of unit area. Its dimensional formula is m1 L to the power minus 1 T to the power minus 1. Now units of eta. First, the CGS unit of eta is poise. The coefficient of viscosity of a liquid is 1 poise if a tangential force of 1 dyne per centimeter square of the surface is required to maintain a relative velocity of the 1 centimeter per second between two layers of the liquid 1 centimeter apart. So 1 poise will be equals to 1 dyne second per centimeter, and which will be equals to 1 gram per centimeter per second. The SI unit of eta is decapoise. The coefficient of viscosity of a liquid is 1 decapoise if a tangential force of 1 Newton per meter square of the surface is required to maintain a relative velocity of 1 meter per second between two layers of the liquid 1 meter apart. So this will be equals to 1 decapoise will be equals to 1 Newton second per meter square, which will be equals to 1 Pascal second, which will be equals to 10 poise. Now next is Poiseuille's formula. The volume of a liquid flowing per second through a horizontal capillary tube of length L, radius R, under a pressure difference P across its two ends is given by this formula. Q will be equals to V by T, which will be equals to pi P R to the power 4 upon 8 eta L. Next is Stokes' theorem. It states that the backward dragging force of viscosity acting on a spherical body of radius r moving with velocity v through a fluid of viscosity eta is given by F will be equals to 6 pi eta r v. Now next is terminal velocity. It is the maximum constant velocity attained by a spherical body while falling through a viscous medium. The terminal velocity of a spherical body of density rho and radius r moving through a fluid of density rho dash and viscosity eta is given by v is equals to 2 by 9 into r square upon eta in the bracket rho minus rho dash into g. Next is streamline flow and turbulent flow. It is the flow of a liquid in which each particle of the liquid passing through a point travels along the same path and with the same velocity as the preceding particle passing through the same point. A liquid possesses streamline motion only when its velocity is less than a certain limiting value called critical velocity. When the velocity of the liquid becomes greater than the critical velocity, the particle flows in a zigzag path. Such a disordered or irregular motion is known as turbulent flow. Now, tube of flow. A tube of flow is a bundle of streamlines having the same velocity of fluid element over any cross section perpendicular to the direction of flow. Next is laminar flow, the steady flow in which liquid moves in the form of layers is called laminar flow. The velocity of the layer varies from maximum at axis to 0 for the layer at the wall of the tube. Next is critical velocity. The critical velocity of liquid is the limiting value of its velocity of the flow up to which the flow is streamlined and above which the flow becomes turbulent. It is given by Vc will be equals to k eta upon rho d. Now next is Reynolds number. Reynolds number. It is a dimensionless number which determines the nature of the flow of liquid. For a liquid of viscosity eta, density rho and flowing through a pipe of diameter capital D, Reynolds number is given by Re will be equals to rho v d upon eta. If Re this Reynolds number is less than 2000, then the flow is laminar. If this is greater than 3000, then the flow is turbulent. And when this is between 2000 and 3000, then the flow is unstable. It may change from laminar to turbulent and vice versa. So Reynolds number is equals to inertial force per unit area upon viscous force per unit area. Next is ideal fluid. An ideal fluid is one which is non-viscous, incompressible, and its flow is steady and irrotational. Now next is rate of flow. The volume of a liquid flowing per second through a pipe of cross section A with velocity v is given by Q will be equals to V by T, which will be equals to AV. Now next is equation of continuity. If there is no source or sink of the fluid along the length of the pipe, the mass of the fluid crossing any section of the pipe per second is always constant. So m will be equals to a1 v1 rho 1, which will be equals to a2 v2 rho 2. It is called equation of continuity For an incompressible liquid, rho1 will be equals to rho2, then A1 V1 will be equals to A2 V2, or we can say AV will be equals to a constant. Thus, during a streamlined flow of a non-viscous and incompressible fluid through a pipe of varying cross section, the product of the area of cross section and the normal fluid velocity remains constant throughout the fluid flow. Now, next is Bernoulli's principle. It states that the sum of the pressure energy, kinetic energy and potential energy per unit volume of an incompressible non-viscous fluid in a streamlined irrotational flow remains constant along a streamline. Thus, P plus half rho V square plus rho GH will be equals to a constant, or we can say that P upon rho G plus H plus 1 by 2 V square upon G will be equals to a constant. The term P upon rho G and H and V square upon 2G are called pressure head, gravitational head and velocity head respectively. For the horizontal flow of a liquid, H will be equals to a constant. Bernoulli's equation takes the form P1 plus half rho V1 square will be equals to P2 plus half rho V2 square. This comes from P plus half rho V square will be equals to a constant. Now, it indicates that the velocity increases where pressure decreases and vice versa. Now, next is Torricelli's law. It states that the velocity of efflux, i.e. The velocity with which the liquid flows out of an orifice, a narrow hole, is equal to that which is freely falling body would acquire in falling through a vertical distance equal to the depth of the orifice below the free surface of liquid. Hence, the velocity of efflux of a liquid through an orifice at depth h from the liquid surface will be V is equals to under root 2 GH. Now, next is Venturimeter. It is a device used to measure the rate of flow of a liquid through a pipe. It is an application of Bernoulli's principle. It is also called the flow meter or Venturi tube. Volume of the liquid flowing out per second is given by Q equals to A1 A2 under root 2 H rho m G upon rho A1 square minus A2 square. Now, next is Magnus effect. The difference in the lateral pressure which causes a spinning ball to take the curved path which is convex towards the greater pressure side is called Magnus effect. Now, aerofoil. It is a solid object shaped to provide an upward vertical force as it moves horizontally through air. Cohesive and adhesive forces. The force of attraction between the molecules of the same substance is called cohesive force, while the force of attraction between the molecules of two different substances is called adhesive force. Next is molecular range. It is the maximum distance up to which a molecule can exert some measurable attraction on other molecule. The order of the molecular range is 10 to the power minus 9 meter in solids and liquids. Now, next is sphere of influence. It is a sphere drawn with molecule as center and molecular range as radius. Next is surface film. A thin film of liquid near its surface and having thickness equal to the molecular range for that liquid is called surface film. The molecules present in the surface film possesses additional potential energy. Next is surface tension. It is a property of a liquid by virtue of which it behaves like an elastic stretched membrane with a tendency to contract so as to occupy a minimum surface area. It is measured as the force per unit length or an imaginary line drawn on the surface of liquid. So surface tension will be equals to force upon length. Its SI unit is Newton per meter and CGS unit is Dyne per centimeter. Next is surface energy. The additional potential energy per unit area of the surface film as compared to the molecules in the interior is called the surface energy. Surface energy will be equals to work done in increasing the surface area upon increasing in the increase in the surface area. Surface energy of a liquid is numerically equal to the surface tension of the liquid. Now, next is excess pressure inside a drop and bubble. There is excess of pressure on a concave side of the curved surface. Excess pressure inside a liquid drop will be equals to 2 rho upon r on one free surface, one free surface, and excess pressure inside a liquid bubble 4 rho upon r, two free surfaces, and this is excess pressure inside an air bubble 2 rho upon r on free surface, one free surface. Okay, this is for one free surface and this is also for one free surface, but this is for air bubble and this is for inside a liquid drop. Okay, and this middle one is for excess pressure inside a liquid bubble on two surfaces. So now next is angle of contact, the angle with which the tangent to the free surface of liquid at the point of contact makes with the wall of containing vessel inside the liquid is called the angle of contact. For liquids having concave meniscus, the angle of contact is acute, and for the liquids having convex meniscus, the angle of contact is obtuse. The liquids for which the angle of contact is acute show a rise in the capillary tube, while those for which the angle of contact is obtuse show fall in the capillary tube. Now, capillarity. A tube of very fine pore is called a capillary tube. The phenomenon of a rise or fall of a liquid in capillary tube is known as capillarity. Now, Ascent formula. When a capillary tube of radius r is dipped in a liquid of density rho and surface tension sigma, the liquid rises or falls through a distance h will be equals to 2 rho cos theta upon r rho, this is sigma, upon r rho g. Now the last topic is rise of liquid in tube of insufficient height. The radius r of a capillary tube and the radius of curvature capital R of the liquid meniscus are relative by r will be equals to capital R cos theta. Therefore h will be equals to 2 rho, this is 2 sigma cos theta upon capital R cos theta into rho g, which will be equals to 2 sigma upon r rho g, and as rho and this sigma and g are constant, so hr will be equals to 2 sigma upon rho g, which will be equals to a constant. If h dash is less than h, then the radius of curvature r increases to r dash such that hr will be equals to h dash r dash. The liquid rise and spread out to a new radius r dash, which will be equals to hr upon h dash, but liquid does not overflow. Thank you.